Welcome back to our Community Talk segment with our focus on San Fernando. We've dealt with business, parking, crime, and now we're going to go to street dwelling. Now, when we spoke with members from Port of Spain, the statistics we got was that it's around 480 displaced people in Port of Spain. Now, Mr. Rahman, I know this is your area of expertise. Do you have a statistic for us for San Fernando?
San Fernando, we have about 105, between 105 and 110 homeless.
Has that always been a constant figure? Did you see an influx around a certain time? Are they moving from the capital into?
May I add there? Because what happens because of the center that Mr. Rahman and they are now managing, and because of the generosity and the good deeds, they're now migrating to San Fernando.
You know, Nadia, you're founder of Things to Do in South Trinidad. And I imagine when you're trying to promote South Trinidad, things like street dwelling could really pose a great challenge to those that you're trying to help maneuver around the city.
Actually, on our page, we promoted that shelter a lot, and there was so many people who messaged after that they needed to get contacts because they wanted to help. And I have to say, San Fernandans are extremely generous. We post a lot for charity. Obviously, we're very careful. We make sure that it's a legit thing. And after every post, which is asking for help, we get all these messages. Put me on to the person. Let me know. I have help. And people don't want people to know that they're helping, but they have been helping.
Big up San Fernando, because I know in our prep work, when we were talking about street dwelling, we said that San Fernando seems to have a better handle in it than Port of Spain. Mm-hmm. So what's your formula?
Well, at the moment we are in the process of getting funding from the private sector community, and it's going to take us a little while, I'd say about a month again, before we can go run it as a 24/7 operation. At the moment, we started off with, in the last 3 months, we've been operating on a Sunday only, and as with people purely donating lunches or breakfast. And that now, we've fully booked up until February with donations for lunches.
Oh.
So
Wonderful.
It's been filling up quite quickly.
And what we're trying to do too is to keep them overnight. That's probably the main challenge, because it's really, it's sad to see them huddling under the stores when it's raining. And we're trying to put a system in place where we can do that. They can come in, go what is being offered now is a shower, change your clothing, and a hot meal. And you must commend my brother here for what they're doing there, but we wanted to expand on that project. But what we also asked the public to desist from feeding the homeless persons on the street, because it creates an unhealthy environment. They leave their garbage at the end of the day. We have to do the cleanup. So those donations can go directly to the shelter.
I remember Mr. Kazim Hussein, when he first said it, when he asked people to not feed them on the street and everywhere, people kind of misunderstood what he meant. Yeah. And they thought he meant don't feed them. No.
You'd not like to see Harris Promenade on a Monday morning, because all day Sunday they're feeding them. Sometimes they get 3 or 4 servings in one day. So they scatter the food, they'll eat the meat alone, throw the rice. So it's really a disgrace.
It has to be coordinated, and that's where we're working with the mayor and the San Fernando City Corporation to really do a proper concerted effort to curb all that wastage. And also we're looking at the idea as well of when we do the weekly feeding, to actually, we're getting commitment from restaurateurs to give their excess food at the end of the day for feeding at dinner time. So we are doing a bit of recycling at that point when we get to that stage. So we're trying to maintain a green initiative because of the styrofoam wastage which happens, that all donors bring everything in trays, and we serve on plates which are washed. So we could also create employment for people when we go full stream with the operation.
But how do we get them off the streets?
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah. Did you ever do a database to know why they are on the streets? I've spoken to quite a number of them. They live somewhere, they have a home.
Some do. Actually, we did compile a database on that, and what we realized is you do have some who, you have the problems of drug addiction, arguments at home have forced them out on the street, alcoholism and that sort of thing. But we are looking at the idea that when we operate on a 24/7 basis, during the week we can actually do counseling programs. We have on our board a number of medical people who can actually contribute in that way to give us psychiatric help, rehabilitation assistance, and so on.
Any displays of aggression, WPC? Any reports where maybe the social
you do get your reports from time to time where they may attack someone or they may fight among themselves.
Abusive.
You know, but other than that, it's not that
There was a couple, they
popular.
had children.
Yeah.
Right.
But I ride in the...
Some of them work during the day.
Yeah, I actually ride in the truck with the San Fernando City Corporation, very facility that's quite a lot.
Very gracious.
We're very gracious for that. And basically going in the truck, in the back, and actually sitting with them and actually discussing while riding, collecting them from the street, you get a feel for where they're at, and there's also a hierarchy as well in there.
They have a president.
Explain the hierarchy.
Yes.
Right, well, you actually have a president.
Association president.
Association president, which is very quite
well
amusing.
organized.
Very quite amusing. It's nearly like a mafia in terms of how they operate, because I understand that any things that come to him go through him first and then gets distributed to the other people.
And then he needs to work with Princess Town, and that we have Sunday morning session is on.
Is he invited to council meetings?
And
He could be our next prime minister.
Oh my God.
With the closure of Petrotrin, have we seen a spike in homelessness?
No. And no Venezuelans either, which is actually an indicator that these guys actually could work.
Mr. Belgrove?
Well, actually, we're also looking at employment for some of them.
That's right.
We are building a database, skill sets based on where they are, and then redistributing. So we are working collectively on that.
I have always thought a solution to this problem should be a change in the laws so that this person is loitering, the law should allow us to take them up. We take them to a central place that can be set up by the government where we can register them, understand their psychological issues, and then some type of rehab program come around. So all of the feeding and everything that takes place, the NGOs bring it into 2 or 3 centralized places. And that might be the solution. But the laws must be changed, because to take them off the street, you're impacting the civil rights.
I know Port of Spain, the deputy mayor told us that they are awaiting that legislation because he said
It's
that
a
really
long
ties their hand. What is WPC? What does the current law say you can and can't do?
With regards to
Social
the
display,
loitering.
yeah, street dwellers.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Well, with the street, when coming to these street dwellers, it's really touchy, as the mayor would have indicated, because most of the time you only get to them when they commit an offense, and then you take them before the court, and because they are street dwellers, most of the time they're referred to St. Anne's for evaluation, and then they're back out.
But is street loitering against the law? That's one avenue for taking them off the street.
But you don't take them off the street permanently.
As I said, you back to square one.
Yes,
and then they come back.
Are they
it's just a
even given
cycle.
rehab? Because rehab in this country is extremely poor.
Yes, it is.
I work in rehab. I'm a rehab professional. And the most vulnerable sectors of our society are the most ignored.
And there's a
both
stigma,
by
right?
public and private.
Yeah, and there's a stigma attached to it as well. As long as you're going to see about your mental health for some reason in this country.
Well, it's not just mental health I'm talking about kids with special needs. I'm talking about older people who have had stroke, older people who have Parkinson's, who have neurodiseases. There is no public health anything rehab. They have to pay out of pocket. So I could imagine for the homeless who can't pay out of pocket, it just seems to me to be extremely sad.
Mia, you're aware of that, right?
Certainly.
She's saying that. And what are we doing about it?
Well, we need legislation. We need professionals to help us to deal with
We have
those issues.
professional rehab people. They don't have any posts in the public institutions.
Well, we are banking on local government reform that will give us the autonomy to do things. As it stands right now, we wait on direction from Port of Spain, and it's really a setback for us. We have been preparing for this, and we are waiting.
I take Akash's point that he made, and I agree with him that it's probably not as bad in San Fernando as it is in other places. And you seem to, from those numbers, it seems that things are pretty much under control. It's not really time of alarm bells are sounding all over the place. How are you going to keep it that way?
By working collectively with agencies like my friend here, Ms. Bartlett as well, and Mr. Bello, all these people who are here today are working collectively to make San Fernando a better place, because we have a responsibility to live better than how we met it.
Appreciate that.
Any chance you all could share your notes with Port of Spain? Or?
Well, that's one thing our
I mean, there's a committee, right? There's a committee.
Well, our committee, we actually wanted to move it to Central and Port of Spain. And it's something which is part of our, in terms of my religion, we want to actually leave the place in a better...
And what we did too, I mean, earlier this project for the shelter was under the purview and control of the corporation. And we felt that we need to get private sector involved. And they volunteered, and we work collectively, we work together to make this happen. And that's what we need to do, work with other agencies, partnership. And as we in this, I would like to say we are transforming library corner as we speak. And we want to speak about loitering, as Keith mentioned a while ago, and people just liming school children after school, after at 2:30.
Yes.
Between 2:30 and 4:30, you have to be going home, because we are speaking to the committee. Police will be coming down there. We're not going to be harsh on school children, but we're asking you where you live and why are you here.
And to add to what he would have said, we are back out, new school term, and we have beefed up our patrols. But we will be beefing up the patrols to get these children off the street by a certain time. With regards to the Ministry of Education, they themselves are supporting us with the school children loitering. And as a community police officer, what we normally do when we meet the children on the streets after 4, we engage you. Why are you still out here? Who are you waiting on?
Parents?
Well, sometimes the parents are still at work, because what we do, we have our phones with us and we ask for a number and we will call, and the parents will say they're not home as yet. You know, that sort of thing.
We are proposing to give you a bus, the corporation bus.
We will appreciate
pick
it.
them up and drop them
because our bus was down for a while, so we couldn't really do what we used to do. But what we really do is, when it's at a later hour, we take you home.
Yeah.
Ryan,
we take you to your home.
I was part of the problem, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry.
It's a cultural thing.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, you're watching Community Talks here on CNC3. We'll be right back.